What's up, y'all? I've been in the studio all day. I have recorded another episode today, and we are now what? Let's look at the calendar together. So today is March 24th. I am literally, as of this Thursday, I'll be 2 weeks out from my new season. I wish I had the insert clapping sound here, so I'm just gonna clap. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that. And also, I'm announcing here, I done said it in the group message earlier, and I'm saying it here. The trailer for season 9 will drop on Friday. New Orleans vlog will drop Sunday, and then the trailer for the podcast will drop Friday. So I ain't said what time, but just know Friday. I already started editing it, so yeah. All right, so we are doing another Mental Man Monday live stream, and I have another great guest, somebody else that I met at PodFest who has a lot to say, very opinionated, very, in your face, also a podcaster. I was on her podcast talking about friendship a few weeks ago now, male friendships, and she actually inspired a panel I'm going to do over male friendships on my upcoming season, and I'm going to make sure it is as chaotic as possible. The goal is to be a balance between the DNC and a love and hip hop reunion. So I don't know how I'm going to do that, but that's going to be pretty interesting, right? So let me go ahead and introduce her so we can get to talking about these hot topics on today. What is going on? Your camera didn't turn. Oh, there you go.
Hey, can you see me?
Yes.
As long as you can see me and they can see me, we good.
No, for sure. All right. So now tell the people, obviously my online people can see, but we know we putting the audio on the podcast apps too. So tell the people what's your name, where you're from, and where you live now.
Hey, y'all. My name's Alyce. I go by Auntie Outside. I am in Jacksonville, Florida, born and raised in Duval County, baby.
Okay. And tell the people what it is that you do and also about your podcast.
I do a lot. I do things and I know people. That's probably the best way to describe me. I am a thrift reseller. So I have a spot called House of Rose where people can come do sipping shops with me. I am a part-time, when I feel like it, buy whenever podcaster. So I do that. I host and curate an event called Thriftnik each and every first Art Walk Wednesday here in Jacksonville. And it's a thrifting picnic. So looking to take that on the road. And I'm an ed tech girly by day, everything else by night. So yeah, that's me.
Okay. Now I went thrifting. I went running the other day, and I was just like, let me go see what's in the thrift store. So I decided to go. When I tell you, because with the thrift stores, they hit or miss. But when I tell you, I went in there and somebody my size then donated all they old Polo Ralph Lauren button downs. I
Yep.
was like, and I had just said I want some more Ralph Lauren polos. They like the long, not like the polo, but like the long sleeve button down shirts, good condition. They was like $11.99. I got 3 of them. They had some old Tommy Hilfiger jeans in there. I said, oh, I'm cashing out today.
That's it. That's it. And you can afford to because it's
Yeah.
$2. Like it's inexpensive. It's not everything, not $2. But when you
Yeah.
get good deals and good quality, that stuff gonna be around forever. You can pass that on to your kids at some point. Like it's quality. So
Now, we're not going to get too much into this because we got some stuff to talk about. But while I'm here, what is your take on thrifting these days? Because now I think it still depends on locations because like where I live in Houston, like it's still a lot of older, like white and then kind of like Hispanics in this area. So like the thrift stores I go to are really just like Hispanic families. So they not really getting the fashion related stuff. They just getting clothes to get clothes. But what is your take on people going in the thrift stores and seeing Sheen?
why? 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 But what I'm also seeing is people, instead of returning it, they just donate it. Like they missed the return window and they just donate it. So it's brand new with tags. And I'm like, okay, that'll last 2 washes. And at least I don't have to pay shipping. So hopefully everybody else can get the sheen and fast fashion and leave the real stuff to me. Cause I can tell. I can touch it and tell if it's vintage. It has a touch, a feel, a smell. Sheen, I can instantly tell and I just skip right on past it. So that's my take on it.
All right, good stuff. Okay, so we got a few topics today. One of them I specifically got because of things that you do, because I need a little bit of the controversy. But the first one we're going to talk about is one I saw just passing, and I was like, okay, we got to talk about it. So everything, all my clips come from Ball Alert today. So Malik Yoba, this is the guy who played Janet Jackson's husband in Why Did I Get Married? The one who got killed in the second movie. I don't know if that's spoiler alert, but yeah, he got killed in the second movie. If you ain't seen it by now, you should have seen that movie.
Wait, it was a couple years ago.
And he spoke out and says he will now identify as a non-white man to expose racial bias. Now let's just watch the clip, because I know everybody like what he mean by that. So let me play the clip and let's get into it.
What's up, America? Decided that I'm no longer a black man, no longer a person of color, BIPOC, none of this shit. What I am is a non-white man. And I think we should all just start calling ourselves non-white. So, I think I have to figure it out. Let me say that shit explicitly. No DEI, no BIPOC, no references to blackness. So we just all walk around like, I'm not a black man, I'm a non-white man. I'm a non-white woman. I'm a non-white, all of us. Asians, Latinos, black people, everybody. Call it what it is. I'm just non-white. Let them rebuke that. Let them refute it. So let them come up with something that just says, we like all non-whites. Excuse me. We don't like all non-whites. Let them come up.
Okay. Let's get into the first part. What does this have to do with mental health? So, as we know, the definition of mental health is the study of how we act, think, and feel. And I understand where he's coming from. I guess his stance is more so just like, because when you hear it, it's captivating, it's polarizing. It's actually something as a podcaster we need to really pick up on as far as marketing, because it's going to get the people going. It's provocative. It's going that kind of stuff is going to get people to look. But when you listen to it, I get what he's saying. He basically saying we just identify, we say as white people, and then it's non-whites, because a lot of times, I guess, especially in interviews and in job spaces, they will have the, how do you identify black, and sometimes, let's be real, they will see black and maybe even some other race and maybe say, no, we don't want to pick that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can identify as not, you cannot identify your race. That is a thing too. So what's your take on what he said before I say what I say next?
I didn't realize his head has always been so long. Like, has his hair always been that long? It's giving Tootsie Roll. But anyways, why can't we just put white?
Oh.
Like, you gonna tell me I'm not? Like, I'm gonna just put white.
Okay. Why would you do that?
Why not? It's the same as asking, like, why do you want this job? Because I need money. Why am I gonna put white? Because I need to get an interview. You'll figure, you can sort through your feelings when I get there. But initially, maybe we should all just put white.
So then what is your take on okay, so then let me ask this. Do you feel like people are starting to do you feel like people's identities are starting to get out of hand, and it's kind of like, let's just do whatever since everybody's doing whatever? Because I have heard people say that as well.
I see that a lot. Especially as as a non-white woman. We tired. Get somebody else do it. Like, no, everybody just get to do what they want to do. And that's how I see myself in this phase of my life as well. Like, everybody just do what you want to do. I can't fix everything. It is what it is. So I think that applies to all races and all people that are non-MAGA. And maybe that's just how we should identify. There's only two groups. There's MAGA and then there's everybody else.
Okay. So that's how she's going to do it. Okay. WWID, what would I do in this situation? So here's what I always wondered, and this is a great conversation as well. So as I mentioned earlier with jobs, right? You can't identify as black or non-black. You know, well, non-white, whatever, right? But and we laughing, but for real, like you don't have to identify your race. Have you ever done that before?
I haven't, but I'm starting to see. I really think that if you don't identify your race, they're gonna just know you anything other than white.
Yeah.
Like I don't see white people just saying, you know what, I'm not gonna identify my race because this isn't gonna work well for me.
Yeah. I actually felt as though identifying as a black man was a how you say, I felt like me doing it was gonna benefit them because if they're trying to meet a quota, they're like, oh, okay, he black, so let's go ahead and get him.
And that's how it used to be. Let's go. Gone are the days where it's like, okay, this can really play to my favor. Now it's like it's not even equal playing field. Is crazy. But now it's like, oh, we don't have a quota. We can hire who we want to hire. We can do what we want to do. We gonna hire all the white people. And I'm just gonna come to the interview. They gonna be like, how did you slip through the cracks? Because I chose white. Because clearly that's all you're screening for.
Well, that'll be interesting because I'm sure it's somebody who's done that before. But then my thing is, what if that's happened by mistake? You know how funny that would be? Because that can happen by mistake. Like if you just kind of clicking through. So I don't know.
And what do you say as an interviewer? Like, oops, my bad.
Yeah, you could. I mean, I don't know. There's something to think about. WWJD, which is what would Jesus do? Also, what is the most ethically and morally correct thing to do? So
Jesus,
obviously,
oh,
with that is true. However, I can say, what is your race? You can say other. I identify as a child of God. No, but for real, I think that in this situation, honestly, you would probably identify as just who you are. I mean, and both of us have stated that we have. I actually had a question before. Should I just try to put not identify my race just to see what happens? And like I said, if I might apply for a job one time, just do it just in case. But then at the same time, my government name is Isaiah Williams. Now, Isaiah is not necessarily black, but Williams, you're gonna be like,
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't
So
never met a white Williams.
And there are some, but when I say some, I mean some.
Well,
so
we know who was
like,
the master and who wasn't, but there's that.
Right. So it's just like, So it's just like I'm not even gonna play with it. But like, cause my name ain't ghetto, but it's black.
Yeah.
So
that's a series. My name ain't ghetto, but it's black. Because the way mine is spelled, I mean, everybody says Alyce, which I quite frankly, at my big age of 32, I still don't see it. But people see my name and say Alyce. And they really confused. Like they really don't know. So is it ghetto or is it just spelled weird? Like, you know, they consider us ghetto or creative. So maybe those are two buckets.
But here's the thing, though, and this is what people don't like to hear when it's fun. Because I mean, so what's your last name?
Bacon.
Huh?
Bacon.
Okay. Are there black bacons?
Bacon, like the food.
Yeah, are there black bacons?
I'm one. The fuck?
Well,
I married
you know
one.
what I mean? Like, are there other ones?
I guess I married one. And because the kids, I kind of keep it and use it when I feel like it. Because if you were somebody who's gonna be like, what'd you say? Just say bacon. Like, just write that down. So it went from ham to bacon. So it was Gresham, and then it went to bacon. So I mean, I've only met black ones.
Both names are kind of a little Caucasian.
Yeah, and then the Rose. That's why I really go by Alyce Rose. They be like, "Oh, it's so creative. It's spelled so cute."
Right.
Stick with that, Martha.
But the thing is, too, with names, especially black people names, people, especially the ones with all them apostrophes and stuff, they'll say my name not ghetto, it's unique. But it can be two things can be true at the same time. Correct. If your name is Donquisha, you could say that's unique, but it is ghetto.
It is.
And that's okay. Just own it. Just own it.
I agree. Just own it. It's fine. You're stuck with it. Like it's fine.
There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. WSMD, what should men do in this situation? So in this situation, my suggestion before we go to the next topic, I would just I get where he's going with it, and it's a great conversation starter. But do I see that happening? No, it's not going to go anywhere and say, unless you just being petty, and then it'd be like other, and you say non-white. It's just like, if I was if I'm hiring people and I'm a boss and I'm a CEO, if I see you do that, like if it lists the races and you say other and then you put non-white, I'm like, you difficult.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm gonna say you difficult because you know I saw a Threads post and it said this and it was lying. This is kind of a little controversial. They said that if somebody identified by like with the different pronouns, they said they wasn't gonna hire them. It said because off rip, they said I'm going to know you're difficult. And I said, oh, and so many people, even it was even some LGBT people was like, if you do that in the job setting, it's like they gonna know it's gonna be a lot, and they don't feel like dealing with that. So,
I mean, it is hard. It's hard. It's difficult. It's uncomfortable. Everybody has a place in the world, but it's hard. I get caught up. You know, it's hard to figure out which one you're supposed to use and when. We weren't taught this, so it's new. And thankfully, that community is patient with us as we're learning to navigate it. Yeah.
she had the dab. All right. Let's get into the next topic. So that's okay. That one was more of a little lighter. This one, these next two are definitely gonna be, I think, a little more intense, and one where it's kind of like a little conspiracy theory to me. So we all know Houston-based rapper Sauce Walka was shot in Memphis, and the person who he was with, one of his good friends, was killed, unalived. So now we're gonna watch this clip about it because there's been a few clips going on about it, and he seems in good spirits after being targeted after Memphis shooting. So let's look at this video, and then I'm gonna give some my takes on the situation because there's some stuff just knowing Sauce. Well, I don't know Sauce Walka, but just living in Houston all these years, you know. So let's go into this video.
Oh, it's that new boy. It's that red boy. Another red cream. You are inferior if you do not shop as superior. Habibi. Oh, yeah, Habibi. Y'all locked that. Habibi. Hey. I'm glad you're okay. RP say so P, man. RP say so P, man. It's also like sauce love. Thank you so much, brother. So much, I wish you would stop by. I really want you to. I'm coming. I ain't scared. I'm coming to that bitch. All right, I'm gonna shoot a jumper. I'm gonna hop in that motherfucker. I'm gonna rap a song with that bitch. I'm gonna sing. Mike. All right, you know, do it. I did. Inshallah. I did. I have no. I'm standing up. No, bitch. I'm standing up. You gonna stand? You sure? Can you stand up? Daddy on the phone. That nigga ain't ready no host. How many times I got shot? Tell him.
That's enough of that. I couldn't even see your face during, but I have a lot to say. What does this have to do with mental health? Okay, so again, I've been knowing of Sauce Walka since, for me, college days. So that was like 2015, 16, 2014, 15. That's when I first heard of him. And he was actually supposed to be on Love and Hip Hop Houston, but it got Love and Hip Hop Houston got scrapped because somebody brought a pow on the set, and then they ended up scrapping the whole thing. Like they were filming back in like 2015. It was like a big thing, and then that's why they just shut the whole thing down and put it in Miami. So okay, if I don't want to say if it was okay. Mental health. What is study how we act, think, and feel? I want to get off topic. So that's how he normally acts, extra over the top, you know, very like, you know, just who he is. And it was kind of, you know, he's seen in good spirits after, you know, surviving what he says is not his first time surviving being shot. And on one end, I'm happy that he's in good spirits, you know, he's happy to be alive. But on the other end, it's kind of, we have to question, like, you lost one of your good friends, and everyone grieves differently, right? Everyone grieves differently.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, you still look in shock after watching the video. But I'm going to say everybody grieves differently, and then I'm going to give you a take. What do you think?
I don't know them people. Like, okay, so this is real life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And he got shot at, but his friend died.
Right. He got shot too. He got shot and but he survived, and then the friend died.
At the point that you calling your daddy asking him how many times their house got shot up, I'm concerned.
Great pivot point. So let's talk about this. Do you think this is a problem in the Black community that we glorify ratchetivities? I don't know if I said that right, but like we glorify danger, living on the edge, surviving shootings, fighting all our life. That's very common in the Black community.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that is?
I think every community has it. So I think in the white community, it's hunting. In the Mexican community, no offense, but it may be considered the cartel. So I think every community has their thing. So we can't just be like, oh, but we have our thing too. And that's a lot. But that goes to generations of nobody seeking mental health. Because at the point that your house got shot up the first time, your daddy should have moved. Your daddy should have took you to private school. He should have sent you to Bel Air, live with your uncle and auntie in Bel Air. Because what? Multiple times? This is dangerous. But it's that you still getting views from it. You still getting likes on it. We still putting eyes on it instead of really addressing the root problem. Baby, you need to go sit in the hospital or sit at the church at the pulpit and pray. I don't even know that'll work, but just go sit there. Just stay on the altar.
Yeah.
So that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's
I'm laughing.
That's why you talk about people. But there's a lot.
Well, like I said, I'm glad you don't know them people. That's good because
they might shoot my house up. Shit, shoot.
So, well, what would I do in this situation? So, in a situation where this is me, so I'm not speaking on Sauce Walka. If I got shot and my friend was killed, and I'm gonna flip it, but watch this. If I got shot and I survived and my friend was killed, I would be happy. But I will be trying to figure out, I need to change my life around because the thing is, because of the good God that we serve, we will always have, there's always grace, right?
Yes.
And there are some people who will and can get away with stuff like that. Like I had a homeboy who got shot. He lived. Right now, he wasn't out here doing gang activities. He just was at the wrong place at the wrong time. And I think that in this case, and like I said, I'm trying not to judge situation, but it just seems as though it was, that everyone grieves differently. I keep prefacing with that, but it kind of comes off like, yo, good friend died. It's like, do you not care? Or it's almost like there's no emotion.
And where's the education for the young people coming behind you? Like, you just seem like, oh, you just bounced up like it's cool. Let's get drunk. No, like, yikes, that's a lot. I don't even know where to start with that one. That's a lot.
Well, and then on the flip side, and this is why I'm getting to conspiracy theories, but on the flip side, which you wouldn't know, but if I was the friend that, passed and then my friend survived and he was acting like that, I would be mad.
Correct.
Like,
correct.
Why are
you with a whole attitude? Like, we could have switched. Like, what? You're not going to get a second chance in life and act like that.
Industry. We hear those rumors throughout until the beginning of I don't know how long. People are going to the stardom and you have to make a sacrifice. This we saw allegedly. And it was another situation like this. It was exactly like this. And it was like the person whose friend died, or it was almost like they didn't feel a way at all. I can't remember the exact name, but it was a similar situation like this. And they were just kind of like,
was that
I don't know if it was
not Young and Ace, but another rapper. It feel like it was here.
It was another situation like that. But you know what? Just recently, Mo3 who died, and then they just what's the other one name? The light skinned one who was his friend who was in a part of that. And he was a part of that. And then it was like, and then that whole thing going around saying, don't trust the people you're around, or you need to watch the people you're around. So it just goes back to, especially with men, women too, but because it's a male, geared. And I'm gonna actually take as a woman in a second, but as with men, I feel as though it almost, one could wonder a question based on how he acting. Was this set up for him and you knew it and you just got caught up in the crossfires? I'm not assuming that, but just the way you acting is just, and like I said, everybody grieves differently. Now, I had our girl on a few weeks ago. Shout out to Jess Holly. And I asked her perspective as a woman. So when it comes to male friendships, and as a woman, do you maybe have a brother, a cousin, or even somebody you dated, or ex, your situation where you looked at their friend like, that's not your friend?
I see that all the time with anybody, with people in general. Like, I have discernment.
Same.
And I think it goes back to the Black family and how we're put together as a unit, and not knowing how to have discernment when it comes to things, or how to navigate that small voice in your head, or how to communicate these things when something feel off. These are things that need to be taught to young men, to young women. Like, hey, if your friends start making little jokes about you, that's not your friend. Something going on. If everybody laughing and you not, you in the wrong circle. But yeah, I have a very high sense of discernment, and it's scary sometimes because I do feel like I don't give people a chance. But I'm good. I'm gonna head out.
For me, it got to the point where now I'm like, if I get this, I've been burned so many times where it was like, I saw something talking about spiritual gaslighting, where you spiritual gaslight yourself, and God has gave you that discernment. Like, I know something ain't right about you. I can't figure out what it is. And then you be like, maybe I do all the time, like, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe it's me. And it end up doing something and you see it. And so, and like I said, I don't want to put that on Sauce Walka. I don't, but I'm gonna just take his name out of it. We see too many situations like this. One which we just saw recently with Mo3 finding out his friend was a part of the hit on him. And it just goes to show you the red flags are always there. You just overlook them. And
Absolutely.
I feel like I'll be telling so many of my homeboys, like, stop hanging with them. That's not your friend. Like, and I'll be looking at them like, and I told one of my homeboys, and because he's a little green with people, and I'll be kind of telling him, and I think, and it's my way of saying it without saying it, so I don't incriminate myself. I just say stuff like, you think that's your friend?
Yeah, like, I'm gonna let you come to that conclusion.
Yeah, I just like, so you really think that's your good friend? I'm like, okay. I ain't saying nothing, but you should be smart enough to know, and I've been right about everybody else. You just say, let me see what's going on with that.
And there's other people that speak for me. They like, I mean, if she say it, I mean, it be coming.
Yeah,
I be like, I'm not gonna say nothing. I don't have to pop mine. I my gut. You gotta trust yours.
At this point, I can't save nobody that don't want to be saved.
Can't. Won't.
WWJD. Ethically and morally correct thing to do in this situation. So Jesus was betrayed, but watch this. Jesus knew what was going to happen, which goes back to the point of, who not supposed to be around you, and obviously Judas had to do that so he can, he knew with the process. But you don't have to die on the cross. Jesus already died for you, so you don't have to put your life on the line for nobody. And again, in advance who is, I'm telling you, like, you overlooking stuff and you try to make excuses for people. And I wasn't even trying to turn into the friendship episode. We hear a little earlier, I guess, but the signs are always, and that's why I ask from a woman's point of view, because sometimes you'll be dating somebody and they'll bring their homeboy around. You probably be like, some man, you need to leave him alone.
Very quickly. And I think it all started when I was in high school and we went to Walmart. One of my good girlfriends, I only had a couple. And baby, I looked over, she had some earrings, and we did not go through checkout. And she was like, oh, see, you just take this little stick off. And I was like, I bet you won't be in my car again. Yeah. When I tell you, we in our 30, baby ain't never been in my car since. I see her, hey, sugar. Because no, ma'am. If you steal that, you'll steal anything. It's the small stuff. If we at a restaurant and you don't tip, baby, it's something about you that don't know how to treat people. And I ain't going to wait for it to get bigger. Or if you're with your friend, your homeboy, and he talking crazy, oh, you just like him because you've been around him long enough. You don't even notice. So your crazy gonna come out too.
I
I look at
keep
it all.
I keep referencing back to this, and it was a post by Carlos King. I saw it months ago, and he said, "As you go, continue to rise up and doing what you're doing. Pay attention to them people in their comments and the comments from people that you've been around, and you quick to make an excuse for them. Like, well, you know, that's how he is, or you know how she is." And for me, which shocks most people when they find out, with me, had very low self-esteem for many parts of my life, to now it's like the other side. You see life differently from low self-esteem to high self-esteem, and you also see
Absolutely.
you see people around you differently as well. And especially we in the same networks with like podcasts and social media and talking to people socially and all that. And I've been doing this now since 2018, and I've met so many great people who I still talk to. Some of I never even met in person still. Some I end up meeting in person, but that have been better friends to me than some people I have known since back in the day. And it's crazy how we got together because of podcasts and they're still connected. But I just think that the signs are always evident, and I'm gonna just keep saying that.
Yeah, and we got a song. It just dropped today. And when I say I couldn't even listen to the whole thing, because once he said this, oh baby, song
What
over,
he
cut
say?
it out. He said, "I just lost my dog. He ain't dead. He just irrelevant."
Oh,
Baby, that's something you can only understand if you've been through it.
yeah,
They still here. They just irrelevant. And then he went into something about they just couldn't come with me. So maybe just inspired that everybody can't go. But yeah, like you have to go through that to understand. I lost my dog. He's still alive. Because I put a post on my Instagram, I'm like, think about it. How long have you known me?
yeah,
Most people have not known me more than 2 years. They
yeah,
don't realize I just started coming outside. And they're like, it feels like forever. Hey, baby, don't think I ain't have no friends before y'all. Where they at, though?
yeah.
So, hey, I'm just saying, watch your circle, child.
WSMD, we just gonna end it with that before we go to the final segment, which is just what's your man doing in this situation. I'm telling you, them red flags be looking like Six Flags, and you got to let go of familiarity, and you have to let go of the past. It has some friends. I've been friends with them for so long, and I've just recently, well, it's been about a year now, I haven't really talked to them, because when I really sat back and listened to things that they were saying, and I compared it to people from my past who I end up letting go, I know they had a lot of similarities. And when somebody shows you they don't like you, believe them, even if they're in denial about not liking you, because sometimes that's the case. And I'm gonna be honest, I've been on both sides of the ball. I done been first people I ain't like, and and vice versa. So I know it's like, and I look back, I'm like, why was I friends with them? I ain't like them like that. But it's just sometimes we just get, again, familiarity, and we've known them for so long, so but people show you they don't be liking you. Also pay attention to people who, even if they jokingly say that's why don't nobody like you, because usually they the ones that don't like you. What you got to say? You over there?
They the ones. You all of that. All of it. And I think this might go into your next segment. So not to steal your shine, but I am in a sorority. So it's like, baby, I don't do this stuff out of obligation. Oh, we supposed to be sisters. We supposed to. Hey, baby, you can't make me do nothing I don't want to do, big dog. So I will see you when I see you. I might not see you if I don't want to see you.
Yeah.
But yeah, because it just don't feel right. If it don't feel right, pivot. But what you just said about, I don't know why everybody like you or whatever. Yeah, watch them very closely.
All right, so let's get into the final topic for today. So this topic is coming on the tail end of the situation with Caleb at Southern University, who died in the hazing process, or unalived in the hazing process. Please don't flag me. And so many people. Well, we're gonna look at the clip first, but Jim Jones discussed the similarity between gang culture and Greek organizations. And I'm not Greek, but I do know some people who challenge the Greek lifestyle, and I'm going to play their point, because I don't feel like how they feel, but I'm just going to play it because they're not here. So, and we need the provocativeness. That's a word. I feel like T.I. So let's get in to see what Jim Jones had to say.
It's 2 days ago.
For what now?
We had to talk. We actually talked about this on the radio 2 days ago. I had your back, by the way.
Wait, what happened?
But then they got on me in the comments. They said when you compared the fraternities.
Oh yeah, you said Bloods and
Because most people are stupid. They lack common sense. You know what I mean? So you can't even get too in depth with people and things like that. But if you look it up, it's all a brotherhood. It's no different. You heard fraternities came out. You don't think they was running around like they was a gang? You think it was all legal thing then when they first started hazing and beating people up? So that's not gang activity. Hazing is not gang activity. To get in a gang, you got to get the shit beat out you. To get in a fraternity, you got to get the shit beat out you. Hazing is not gang activity. There's a lot of similarities there that they call other things. You heard?
And that's all I was saying.
You want to be a gang, you get jumped in. Okay, cool. You want to be in a fraternity, you get hazed in. Like you did. So I don't even feel like going down the similarities of what.
And but you were comparing. You were on my Explore page 2 days ago for just some similarities. You weren't comparing everything.
Of course, not everything.
That's
Some
all-
things
that-
go a little
that was
bit
my
left.
argument.
But the
That was my argument.
ideology of the idea of what a gang is and what a fraternity is pretty much the same thing. It's a brotherhood. Each one teach one, a group of brothers that come together to lift each other up, no matter what circumstances it is and things like that.
Fraternity. An organization is an organization, society, club, fraternal order, traditionally of men, but also women, associated together for various religious or secular aims.
Okay. And what is a gang?
Group of criminals or people, especially young men and women. Damn, that's almost the same as the other one.
Difference is they named it gang.
With defined leadership and an internal organization.
Okay. Now what we just said about, didn't they have internal organization? Common sense. And I have a lot of common sense. You heard? I might not be the smartest, but I'm very keen. You heard? I know what's going on around me. And that's the problem. People don't like to see people.
Okay, let's get into it. What does this have to do with mental health? So, study of how we act, think, and feel. Obviously, I'm not Greek, so I can't defend that part, but I know that's why we got you here. And I'm a wordsmith. I'm an English major. I'm a ghostwriter. Check out my services. And he was hitting me with the definitions. He said he was breaking them down. They was like they about similar. And you know, from my homeboy who didn't, because he actually posted this on his story many years ago, and he called out of hell for because he didn't go to college. I'm sure that's not helping the case here, but he didn't go to college, and he made the post and was like, "Why would I join a fraternity? I can just go join a gang. It's the same thing." So of course, people was educating him and letting him know the differences, and it's not a gang, and it's like this. It was like, but kind of a lot of the points that Jim Jones had. Now, as a debater, and I know that you can debate anything and and win. And let me ask you this as someone who is in a Black Greek letter organization. Do you think he would have been able to make those points accurately if someone who was in a Black Greek organization was there?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Okay. Now, what is your take on his view of they have similarities?
Out the gate, you coming up with it's stupid, and you're in an upright position on somebody's camera with your do-rag and your bedazzled jacket on. I'm disturbed in my spirit. I'm a little uneasy. And then any educated people don't have to walk around and say they're educated people. So you keep saying I got common sense, baby. It's so common you shouldn't have to announce it, big dog. But for me, are they both groups? Yes, they're both groups. They're both Republicans and Democrats. They're both groups. All of these are groups. All of these are groups of people. You started off by saying it's a group of criminals. That's the difference. Are there criminals in D9? Sure. We've seen it with the police officers because they're still humans. These are still groups of humans. Are there D9 people that's a Crip of the blood? Possibly. I mean, you could have crossed one and then decided you want to be the other. Everybody get to do what they want to do. But I can't trust your life decisions. You got on a do-rag and a bedazzled jacket. So you're just not the one to get on here and speak about this, to be honest with you. I mean, that's what I got. Just like they say, everybody's, baby, I don't like telling people stay in their lane. Stay in your lane. Go balling. Because clearly that's all you left us with. Like, I'm just so disturbed by the do-rag. I just fix it, Jesus. Fix it, Jesus.
Now I'm gonna play devil's advocate with the outfit, and here's why. Just hear me out. I give passes to some people certain outfits if they are in a certain career. And since he is, I said rappers and YouTubers to me are in the same ballpark, so I allow them to get away with certain things. So that's why for me, I'm like, well, but because he is a rapper, I'm like, well, you know, but you just can't get past it.
I can't. And then you again, I have common sense. I'm well educated. I don't have to go around saying I have common sense and I'm well educated. Within talking to me for 10 minutes, you can tell.
Right. Now we're gonna play devil's advocate again in a second. Watch this. WWID. What would I do in this situation? So, one, when you speaking on things like that, and don't get it twisted, there are people who can debate these things and get put up a good fight. I just say that if you're gonna be speaking on things a certain way, you have to be a little more prepared. And with him, he probably don't care what nobody think about him, no way. But so that I'm sure that's part of it. But when you speaking on certain organizations, when you speaking on certain, not saying you can't have your opinion, because you can have your opinion. Certain organizations, certain spiritual practices, certain presidential candidates, you have to be well equipped. And I think this is a message for other people when they do feel led and are led, because there are people who will be led. God will lead you to speak on certain things, and then you may catch hell for it, but you have to speak on it. You need to be prepared, and not just for the backlash, but prepared to have those conversations. And in his case, just based on the body language of the video, do you think he was prepared for that conversation?
I don't know what he walked in to talk about, or if it was like other things and then this happens to come on the table, but I don't think he was well prepared to talk about that. I mean, yes, it's two definitions. Great. We know that. There's two definitions that may be similar. Yes, we know that. We can find two definitions that's completely different. All of these things could be true, but when you're speaking, what's the point of you speaking? And we all should be thinking that. Like, when you're speaking, why are you talking?
Yeah.
Is it just to talk, or is it because you have a real message? If you have a real message, it would be you should not be in gangs like me because I'm in a gang. That's what you can speak on.
Being in a gang.
Because that's what you know.
WWJD, what would Jesus do? Now, even with that, I like when you said earlier that people cross, because there's people who was in gangs and Greek. That's who we need to find. That's what I need to find. And I know it was actually somebody told me.
No. If you got both sides, shoot me and you can debate me. I don't.
But the thing is, I knew of a dude. I didn't know him personally, who was a blood, but he crossed Sigma. I'm like, how does that work?
Yikes.
Yeah,
he just gonna wear purple. I mean, he just gonna wear pink. Like, he just gonna wear a completely different color. Cause what?
Yeah, and he was from Cali too, so you know how that go. But anyway, in this situation, now let's bring it up. So recently, we talked about Caleb, and he passed away, and somebody else can make the comparison where there are people who have died in gang initiations, people who have died in hazing initiations, because Caleb ain't the first, but yes. And I've heard some stories of my homeboys who they tell their stories, and they was on the verge. What is your take on that? Because from my understanding, from the old school Greeks, it didn't always start off that way. It didn't kind of transition into that. So what is your take on just that in general? And like people taking it too far and people abusing power. I think that's the thing I think irritates me, because it's some of these people, not all, but some of these people wasn't nobody until they got those letters, similar to gangs, but
absolutely.
And then they take advantage. So like, what is your take on that? Because that's what I hate to see.
I mean, that's in any segment. You could tell the people that peaked in high school and they're looking for a win. They're looking for a win, and whatever. It's the boss that you got that's just being a straight butthead because he got a little power and a title. It's all these people looking for that win. For me, and this is, first of all, I don't give a damn if Greeks come for me or not, quite frankly, because you can't be my ass. But it's the fact that Nobody should be putting hands on anybody in any situation and then turn around and call them family.
Yeah.
This is not from my perspective as a Greek. This is just my perspective as Alyce Rose, auntie outside. Nobody should put their hands on anybody in love. That's even with kids. Why am I beating this child to show him I love them?
Yeah.
That's not. And then now we're family and you're supposed to still love me. You're supposed to embrace me. It shouldn't happen. And again, this is a thing with evil humans. It's not the whole organization that's evil. These are evil people.
Yeah.
Whether they started that way, whether they peaked in high school, whether they think, oh, I can hit harder than you, whatever the case may be, this is a people issue. This is not charging the whole class for 2 students that don't know how to act.
Yeah.
So,
And it's sad about the whole Caleb situation because it
oh,
was
it's
just like,
heartbreaking. He did not deserve that. He deserved to walk across that stage and graduate. He set out to join a group that he thought would be a family to him, would embrace him, and would love on him. Unfortunately, that was not his experience. And it breaks my heart because that should never happen. He should be the last ever, point blank. This never should have happened, but he should and better be the last.
But I even think about, I heard, because it was a story I heard about out here in Texas. I think it was the PV, I don't know. And they talked about how some guy back in the 90s or something, they tied him to, I don't know which Greek. They told me, I think I know, but I ain't gonna say. And they tied him to the railroad tracks as to scare him. And they went back into the party and they forgot he was there. And when they came back, he was no more. And I just think like, it ain't nobody, common sense here. Somebody got common sense to say, hey, y'all, this is a little too much. Like, tying somebody to a railroad. I don't know.
That's when evil and weak-minded get together in one.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get a perfect mix of anybody. You got the people that's evil with pure evil in their heart. You got weak-minded people that's gonna act on it or stand by and watch and not speak up. And they all come together because they can.
Let's go into the final one. WSMD, what's your man doing in this situation? I will hope you ain't joining no gang. I will hope. Now that I can't say. If you decide to become Greek, whether you already been one or you do it later in life, just make sure you do it.
I hope your Greek experience is not gang-like.
Yeah. And I hope you're not doing it just because you want to feel a part of something. Like sometimes people do it because people do it because they struggle with their identity, and they do it because they want to feel accepted, and that don't mean they're gonna become the evil people, but it's just they just want to feel accepted. So please don't do it because you just want to feel accepted. Do it because you think this is something you really want to be a part of because of what they represent. If that's what you choose to do, but don't do it because. But I will say, don't join no gang. I hope not.
Yeah, that you just shouldn't do that because what's the purpose of it?
Yeah. But then to extract what Jim Jones, if you're going to have a debate or you're going to speak on something controversial, just be well equipped and be open to, like I said, if it's gonna go up, just know the comments gonna go crazy. Be ready for that. Some people don't care. Some people, they'll do anything for some controversy, so they don't care. But then also,
that's it.
If it starts to debate in your real life, just be ready for that. Anything else you want to add to it?
No, I think you hit it all on the head. Like that's.
Yeah.
Fix yourself before you look. Fix yourself internally before you try to fix yourself externally. And just know Greek life is external.
Yeah.
Right after I crossed, somebody told me, oh, you're a sorority girl now. And when I tell you, I think all of my ancestors rose up inside of me the way I cussed them out. I am not a sorority girl. I am a girl in a sorority. I'm the same today as I was yesterday and as I'm going to be tomorrow. This does not define me. It's a part of me now. This doesn't define me.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. What else is going on? We still throw back in old episodes until the season premiere. Trailer drops Friday, vlog on Sunday. Anything you want to put before we go today? It's been a great conversation.
Yes, it was a pleasure. So good to see you, Izzy Bear.
Good to see you.
So if you're in Jacksonville, if you're near Jacksonville, you can check me out every Art Walk Wednesday for Thrift Nick. You can follow me on all social media platforms under Auntie Outside. Yeah, Auntie Outside or Miss Thrifty Rose. I'm a community builder. I'm a network connector. I connect people to people, people to resources. That's who I am. That's what I do. So if you think I can help you in any way, reach out to me.
All right, and her name will be in the bio on YouTube and on Instagram. No, not Instagram, on the podcast apps, because this audio will be going up. So make sure y'all tune in for that too. All right, y'all. Tune in next week for the next live stream. PSA signing out. Always remember, keep your head up like your neck hurt. Remember who you are. Make your mind up. Don't let it make you. And I love us.